Good morning, everybody, from Argentina at the Autodromer Nestor Nunez, and welcome to Go or Go Home qualifying for race number 11 of the fourth season of the NR2003 Red Bull GT Series. As Henrietta Fitzwater is the first driver out onto the track. Should be a fun race here this afternoon, as we're racing here in Argentina for the very first time. This track is wide enough, like Bristol Motor Speedway, believe it or not. As down the front straightaway we go, Henrietta Fitzwater is the first one on the clock. So they took like Bristol Motor Speedway, widened it out, made it a flat short track. As we're in St. Vincent, which is just outside the capital city of Buenos Aires. And you see the green cones. I'll show it to you when we're on board with Henrietta Fitzwater, or when we get a chance. 24,555. Let's take a lap with Henrietta Fitzwater, and I'll pause it. Just look to the right of your screen. There's the first restart cone, and there's the second one, as far as the restart zone is concerned. Reason I bring that up is because this is the longest restart zone that we will go to on the calendar. And of course, special thank you to Sign-On44 for the track, and for the design he made for the round of Argentina. They're going to be a little iffy on cautions today in this afternoon's race, and I've seen this when Sign-On talked about this for the round of Argentina. If you go off track, like in the grass right here, they're not going to throw the caution. So it has to be on the black stuff. Should be a fun weekend of racing here at Buenos Aires. And look out, Zachary Fitzwater was trying to get out of the way of Zachary Fitzwater's coming to pit road. It's also the longest pit road we go to, 37.84 for Fitzwater. I think he made contact with somebody. Courtney Lynn goes fifth quickest. And of course, none of these drivers, including my drivers, have raced here before in Argentina. As Brooke Packett, right now currently getting ready to set her time on the board. It's a 38.09. Reason it's a 30 is because their times were behind the start, or their pit stall was behind the start-finish line, so this will be their first official time lap. .24.12 for Packett. She goes to ninth quickest, but not fast enough to get into the top 7. If you run into 23 7s or 6s or 770s, I think you would be somewhat safe to make the show. 23.889. That puts Courtney Lynn on the outside looking in. Brooke Packett goes fourth quickest. As Fitzwater is back out onto the track. There's Matthew Hubert, Timo Mauser. Mauser's currently on the hot seat, trying to improve his time. Looks like he's starting his lap time. All these drivers are currently in fourth gear. Annie Crenshaw, 23.6. That was a blistering lap for the 75. Courtney Lynn, 7.67, puts her third quickest. Mauser's in. Matthew Hubert's now on the bubble. That might have just locked Annie Crenshaw possibly into the show. David Santi didn't improve. Neither did Lizette Armstrong. Courtney Lynn didn't improve a bit. But 23.76 is pretty good. Sam Tenley at 23.72, second quickest for the 55. Sorry about my phone. That was my alarm telling me to wake up. Ingrid Pollard, 23.82, needs to improve her time. Sam Tenley at 23.72 goes second quickest. John Schmidt's on pit road. Andrew Williams currently on the outside looking in, drafting Henrietta Fitzwater. Didn't improve his time. Henrietta Fitzwater currently now on the bubble by nearly 200ths on Andrew Williams. Brooke Packett, fifth quickest. Like I said, this track can hold not just the 42 car field, but also can hold 46 drivers if you have the tools to do it. Courtney Lynn, second quickest. 23.709. Crenshaw won a 6.30. That's no doubt going to put Annie Crenshaw in the show. I think a 63 will definitely get her in the show. And remember, Annie Crenshaw comes in this race 36th in the points, so one more good result from Crenshaw. She's back in the top 35 and doesn't have to worry about trying to qualify her way in to next week's race at Mexico. Yes, these drivers will be heading to Mexico to wrap up the World Tour. Yes, we are done with off weeks for these drivers. Sam Tenley right now. There's Brooke Packett. Andrew Williams needs to pick it up. Can he pick it up? No, he cannot. He did not improve his time. So if Henrietta Fitzwater is still on the bubble, Zachary Fitzwater, 23.756. Currently fourth quickest. Timo Mauser, sixth quickest. John Schmidt needs to find some speed. 23.879 is his best lap. Does not improve. 24.237. That did not improve his lap. Right now, the six that are in danger of missing the race would be Andrew Williams, Matthew Hubert, Lizette Armstrong for the second week in a row, Ingrid Pollard, John Schmidt, and David Santi. Those would be the six that would go home from this race. We have our motorsports calendar to tell you what we got coming up this afternoon. We'll be live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we will bring you the race here at Argentina as we wrap up the South American part of the World Tour. Actually, this is the last race of the World Tour, I should point out. The next race, which I did say next week, it's actually going to be in 2 weeks. We will head to Mexico City at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez as we head back to back to North America for the first time since race number 2. We will head to Mexico City. We will have Go or Go Home qualifying at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is, by the way, in 2 weeks. And then at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be Mexico City before we are back in the United States for the remainder of the season, which we will end up having a Texas 1-2 punch. We'll be going to the first ever trip to another Master Cup track that has not seen an action, the famous Houston Supercell, which last time there was an NR race there was in 2012, which is now called the Fark Low Dollar Series, as we are down to 4 minutes to go in this session. So that is where we're going to have our next race, and of course after Mexico, it'll be just straight races from here on out for these drivers. Glad to wrap up the South American tour. Then we're back to North America for the rest of the year, beginning in 2 weeks at Mexico City. Of course, we have the Oreo Cup Series and Indy, which is, by the way, going to be our first elimination race, which 4 drivers will get eliminated. As I look at the schedule here, pulling it up. We have Dover for Busch and Winston Cup. Next week, we head to Kansas Speedway. Next week, it'll be just Oreo, Busch, and Winston Cup next week, as Red Bull GT will take an off week. We actually also we got the birthday race coming up, by the way, on Monday. That'll be after the Winston Cup Series. That'll be for the drivers that will take part in the All-American Series. I'll have that race ready for you guys. We'll be live at the track we'll be going to later in the season, Texas Motor Speedway. That will be where the birthday bash will take place, which there's going to be 43 drivers on the entry list for 42. That means one unlucky driver will go home. So I have the birthday race there, and then, of course, the first race of the round of 12 for Oreo Cup, and then we have Busch Winston Cup from Daytona. Then the following week, we will see these drivers back at Mexico City. We have the middle race of the round of 12 for the Oreo Cup Series at Lime Rock Park, one of my favorite road courses, and then Busch and Winston Cup Series from Hillside. And then these drivers will be at Texas Motor Speedway when they come back from their break, which they will go straight for the rest of the year. We'll have our second elimination race for the Oreo Cup Series, and then Trucks, Busch, and Winston Cup Series will be coming your way. Well, Trucks will be at Papyrus. Busch, Busch, and Winston Cup are actually at Papyrus Motorsports Park, so that should be fun. Sam Tenley, 23628. He is now looking like he's going to be in the show, as nobody has found an answer to Henrietta Fitzwater's 23777. So we're coming up to 30 seconds left to go in the session. If you're not on track, you're done for. So it looks like Courtney Lynn, ever since she failed to qualify for the first 6 races of the season, she's been making, well, if you exclude the European portion ever since we did the double headers at Sweden and Wales, she's made every race since. So there you go. She's still trying to climb from the cellar of the points table, by the way. Courtney Lynn did go up to 45th in the points. Don't think anybody's going to improve their time. We're going to have to see. And zeros are on the clock, so time's up. Laps will count. See if Andrew Williams can improve his time. Looks like they are not scoring him. So Andrew Williams, his consecutive start streak in the Red Bull GT Series will unfortunately come to an end. Looks like nobody's getting scored, so... But Sam Tenley, good job to him on being the fastest in this qualifying session. That was not the right button there, Voiles. That was the right button, as I'm going to go ahead and take a photo of the results, so that way I can post it in the Red Bull GT Series chat in the WRA Discord. By the way, if you haven't joined the WRA Discord, link is on my channel, on my main channel, so just letting you know. So, Sam Tenley, Annie Crenshaw, Courtney Lynn, Zachary Fitzwater, Brooke Packett, Timo Mauser, and Henrietta Fitzwater will make the show this week. Unfortunately, the drivers who will not make this week's race here at Argentina are Andrew Williams, his first DNQ of the year, Matthew Huber, John Schmidt, Lizette Armstrong, 2 weeks in a row for her, Ingrid Polliver, and Davis Santi. Those drivers will not race this race, and they will have to try again at our next race. That will be in 2 weeks at Mexico City. So, tough break for those drivers. But thank you for joining us for Go or Go Home qualifying. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We'll be back at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our points paying event here in Buenos Aires. As our race week in Argentina continues on the Blue Hedgehog TV, the greatest racing since 2013.